All right, task 5. We're going to do some word problems with our inequalities today. What's going to be really important is that we know what these phrases mean and what symbol to use for each phrase. So we know that this first one is greater than, right? Greater than. But I want you to go ahead and take a moment and organize each of these phrases under which symbol you think might be its correct symbol, and then we'll check our answers. All right, check your answers. What I would double check and make sure is that you have at most and at least under the correct column. At most and at least are used quite a bit in these word problems. So when we have at most, I want nothing more than that. So I have less than or equal to symbol, and at least I want more than what that is. So I have greater than or equal to. So let's start into some of these word problems. Ben has a $40 gift card for an online audio store. He plans to buy some songs for $1 each and some audiobooks for $4 each. So that in itself, all that stuff with money, that would give me my first inequality. I will have at most $40. So I have $1 for every audiobook. Let's maybe identify these, right? Let's have X be our, song, $1 for every song, and Y will be our audiobooks. And so I'm going to have 1X plus 4Y is less than or equal to 40. So at most he has $40. That's the most we can mount to spend. Everything else has to be less than that. So we can buy as many songs and audiobooks as we can. We just can't go over $40. Ben knows that he wants at least 3 times as many songs as audiobooks. And so at least we're going to be using that symbol greater than or equal to. 3 times as many songs as he does books. So let's do X is greater than 3Y. Songs as 3 times as many songs as he does audiobooks. So 3 times the audiobooks, I want X to be greater than whatever that is. And so I have these 2 equations, but they might be a little hard to graph. And so I would strongly suggest to rewrite these inequalities in this y equals mx plus b format. So let's do that for a moment. Let's take this first equation, 1x plus 4y is less than or equal to 40. But I want to get y by itself. So I'm going to start by subtracting 1x to both sides. And I get 4y is less than or equal to negative 1x plus 40, right? Those can't combine together, so my x moves to the other side. And then in order to get y by itself, I'm going to divide everything by 4. That way I'm left with this equation, y is less than or equal to negative 1/4 x, that'll be my slope, plus 10, that'll be my y-intercept. So this is my first equation I'm going to graph. My second equation I'm going to graph comes from over here. Again, I want that y to be by itself. And in fact, I like to have my y on the left side of my equation, so I'm going to flip that equation around. So instead of x is greater than or equal to 3y, I'm going to write 3y is less than or equal to x. The alligator is still open to my x. You know, the alligator is still open to my x. The alligator is still open to my x. I didn't change any value there. I just flipped it around so that I'd have my y on this side so it's easier to graph. And of course I want to get y by itself. So I divide by 3 and I get y is less than or equal to 1/3 x. So those are my 2 equations that I'm going to graph. So let's start. If I have y is less than or equal to negative 1/4 x plus 10, my y-intercept is going to be at 10. And then I'm going to go down and to the right. So down 1 and to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Down 1 and to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Down and to the right all the way over. And that makes my line, and it's less than or equal to, so that means I'm going to have my solid line. And I want everything less than that, so I'm going to shade below. And I'll take maybe one of my colored pencils because I know I'm going to need a second color to shade below my next line. And my next line, of course, is y is less than or equal to 1/3 x. So this one has an intercept of 0. I could put a +0 there if I wanted to, but there's no reason to. And so I'm going to start at my origin. I'm going to go up 1 and over 3. And draw my straight line all the way through. And of course, this is also less than or equal to, so I'm also going to shade below. So my intersecting area is down here in this overlapping region. This side's blue, this side's orange. My solution region is down here. And so when it's asking for, to make sense of my solution, what I should be really looking for is some solution points. I could maybe choose, oh, I don't know, this point right over here, and that's at I think like 11.2. Yeah, so 11.2 is a solution to these equations, and what that means is that he could buy 11 songs and 2 audiobooks. There's a lot of other points I could choose in there. So 11.2 is a good point. You could also maybe choose one over here at, what is that? 17.4 is another solution. And so that would mean that he could buy 17 songs and 4 audiobooks. So either one of these are a possible solution. You can come up with multiple. Any point that falls in this region is considered a solution and an option for him to buy songs and audiobooks. So lots of different answers possible. Okay? Let's do another one together. So number 2, Ivy's trying to manage the money she spends on lunch. And between eating out and buying groceries, she wants to keep her weekly budget to. And so maybe let's define some variables. Let's have X be our, what are they, eating out, lunch, and Y being our groceries, our store-bought lunch. And so if I were to write an equation, I want her to keep it less than 50, So it doesn't equal 50. It's X plus Y is less than 50. She also decides that she wants to spend at least twice as much, at least, right? We know that at least is going to be at least twice as much in bagged lunches as she does at restaurants. So that means that our bagged lunches, she wants to spend at least, so that's greater than or equal to, at least twice on restaurants. So Y greater than or equal to 2x, greater than or equal to 2x. And so I'm going to graph those two. This one is already set up in y equals mx plus b format. This one, it's a pretty quick, easy change, subtracting x to the other side. So I have x plus y is less than 50. I can subtract x to the other side, and I get y is less than negative x plus 50. And so that's my one equation, and my second equation, of course, is y is greater than or equal to 2x, this one over here. So those are my two equations I'm going to graph. Take a moment and start graphing them. We'll have to maybe count by, I don't know, 2. If you count by 2s, that would put 50 all the way up at the top. Yeah, there's 25 boxes here. I just did that. And so count by 2s, it'd start my y-intercept up here at 50, and I'm going down 1 and to the right 1, right? I have a -1 intercept, and so I'm really just going down to the right 1 over and over and over again and make. All right, and straight line just like this. Notice I did make it a dashed line because it is less than, it's not less than or equal to, and so when I color this in, I'm coloring everything below less than that. However, that dashed line means that anything on that line is not a solution. It's just everything that's below it. My other line is y is greater than or equal to 2x. So that means I'm going to have to go up 2 into the right 1. Remember, we are going at essentially counting by 2s, so be careful as you move. You're really going up 2 and over a half. But I guess it does essentially work out perfectly to go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, even if we have them, going by 2s, you'll still end up getting to the same spot. And this one I made a solid line, because it has that equal to symbol, and it is greater than, so I'm going above, I'm going to go above, and so I'm going to be shading everything above this line, on top of this line. And so my overlapping region is over here. This is my solution region. And we can choose a couple different points in there to choose as our solution. So, instead of necessarily, I don't know if I really meant to have find the intercepts, but make sense of a solution. Find a solution point. And so maybe my solution point is 30, and counting by 2s would make that 30, 10 would be one option. She could spend $30 on eating out in restaurants and $10 on our groceries. Wait, I'm so sorry. I have this flipped around. Okay, 30, 10 is not my solution point. 30 is my y value. I apologize. 30 is my x value. 10, 30, because this point right here, over 10, up 30, 10 is my x, 30 is my y, which means that it's 30 on groceries and 10 on eating out at restaurants. All right, there we go. All right, that's my final answer. Your goal is to do the next 4. There's a couple walking you through. Check your answers with what I got.